Hello, everyone. You're hearing the voice of Matt Fear, hanging out, waiting for Rachel to come back on. We had some issues with our Streamlabs. I don't know what happened with that, but Streamlabs would not boot up on my computer. So we've switched over to StreamYard. If you can hear me, go ahead and put a hi there, hi there, hi there in the chat. And we will continue to look at this wonderful, pristine mountain view. I'm sorry, Pfeiffer, that's only one hi there. I don't know that you can actually hear me because I asked for 3 hi theres. So if you could put 2 more hi theres, just so I can get a good sense of whether or not you can hear me. And thank you. There's 1 more hi there, 2 more hi theres. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Rachel is coming on live now. She's here. She's backstage. She's ready to come on screen. She is live. We are back. And here's Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Sorry about all that.
No worries. Hey guys, I was told that the Stream Lab crapped out.
I caught them up. Yeah, they're all ready to go.
I'm hearing that Matt let you know what happened, and I don't have to recap the events.
Unless you want to, you can tweet about it all you like.
Unless I'd like to, but you know what? I'm fine. I don't feel like I take any particular pleasure in explaining my own failures or the failures of my colleagues or of our equipment. So we can just go straight and back into the show. Thank you all for hanging in there. I know we're now in StreamYard, so if you were enjoying the music, if the music is why you listen / watch the show, I'm sorry it's no longer a part of the show. But yeah, it's all we can do to get my face on your screens, apparently. Again, let me reconnect to the chat on my own phone so I can see your lovely thoughts and feelings. It's good to see you all again, to the extent that we can see each other. So we're back in the thick of it. We're back online, and it's great. You know, I say, oh no, my flow. I have this nice flow, but do I ever have a flow? I'm a very choppy person. My nature is choppy, so I feel like there's really no flow to lose. Yeah, I am being silenced. I'm being canceled. The right-wing media can't handle my hot shtick, my funny ideas that often have a slight or marginal left-wing bent to them. What's nice is I used to make more jokes about billionaires, and sometimes people got mad at me because I would make fun of Bill Gates. And I feel like Bill Gates' reputation has taken a real swipe, a real punch in the nose recently through the course of these events of his divorce. So I feel gratified that I no longer have to get big Bill Gates stands in my mentions. which was a thing that I had to worry about. You know, to the extent you have to worry about any of this shit. Obviously, people can get mad at you and your menchies. They can get mad at you and your replies. The only thing that really is terrible is when you go a little bit too viral. Going viral isn't bad in itself. The problem with going viral is that you often have an imagined audience that you're speaking to. And when too many people see your joke, people will start to see it who you were never intending to make the joke to, and either take offense to the joke, not understand the joke, either a benign misunderstanding or a hostile or malicious misunderstanding, and so forth. So I had to, I just wanted to put it out there that the only thing that really bad that happens to you that has happened to me is when you kind of breach that layer of your audience, and that is the most unpleasant part of Twitter so far for me. You had a tweet with 10 whole likes yesterday, Pfeiffer. That's awesome. Yeah, and I feel like for me, like even if you decide, even if you watch the show and you still decide to tweet in your classic style and the way that you want to, I feel like this part of this show is about explaining how to write tweets that will become moderately viral if that is a goal of yours on the platform. I feel like I try to explain, I may have been doing it less recently, but I do try to explain a certain extent, like why I make the jokes I do and why I feel like they're a good idea if your goal is to get moderately viral, at least for a few of them. So I'm back on my personal account just to get, again, the topics of the day, the current events of the day, just because I feel like they're a little bit more personalized. They're a little bit more algorithmically coherent with regards to like what I read and what is interesting to me. So we're here for that reason, and we're going to just see what's going on, what's on tap today. Simone Biles, of course, is in the news a lot, basically about how she's a superhuman. She's doing all these flips nobody else can do in the world. I'm not sure if there's a joke there because I'm not sure who we would make fun of. I do think it's funny that I've written about this before in previous tweets. I do think it's funny how much gymnastics used to suck, like gymnastics from like the 1930s. Watching clips of that, my main impression is that I could do it. My main impression is that it's much, much less interesting than what we're doing now, and that in fact it probably should be named something else because what they did back then is so unlike what they're doing now. So obviously, Simone Biles is amazing. There's not a possible bad thing you could say about her, that we know of, that wouldn't be a joke better directed at some other person or other organization. Obviously, USA Gymnastics has a lot of fucking things to answer for, but that stuff isn't really funny either. If you saw Athlete, I think it's called Athlete A on Netflix, I watched and just spent the whole movie just wanting to like punch a wall until the house fell down. It's very, very upsetting. Leslie Grace is set to don a Batgirl cape. I don't know who that is. She seems nice, just from that very small photo of her wearing a denim shirt or a shirt designed to look like denim from a distance. But other than that, I don't know. To find the places trending, always a lovely time. Yeah, let's see what else is going on. Tokyo 20 is trending. Real Housewives. I've never seen a Real Housewives show. I know that I have friends who watch it, but I've never myself partaken. I've just never really been into most reality shows. Why would you? I just kind of feel like I would rather just watch an anime. Liz Cheney, Yanni, Pelosi, Burl, Kasich, Nyla, Britt Baker. There's a lot of wrestling trends that I don't. Again, the only wrestling I really am involved with is the QAW stuff. Pfeiffer's whatever. Pfeiffer, if you don't know, this is a little funny joke. Pfeiffer is famously a owner and constructor of Gundam models. So Pfeiffer definitely knows what anime is, and this is a funny joke to pretend an ignorance that is not his to claim. A shirt made to look like Denim from a Distance is the name of your third album. Josh, this is a problem because apparently you have 2 albums, neither of which I've heard. So please send me those post haste in the post. women in the U.S. losing more jobs during pandemic than men. I've seen variations of this headline a lot. I've always been underemployed, so to me, it's all the same fucking thing. But obviously, on a population level, it's concerning. That's always the trick, right? When you read a newspaper article and you have to stop thinking about whether it applies to you and whether it is interesting on a population scale. A Bezos Gundam joke is what got 10 likes. Makes sense. I am worried looking at these COVID updates. I am worried that we'll go in lockdown again. I'm worried that the Delta or even the Lambda variant, which I heard has had a case, there's been a case of Lambda in Texas. Any of these variants, I'm worried will cause another shutdown. I don't know what would be required to cause a shutdown, specifically in Massachusetts where I live. But yeah, I'm not clear whether we get out of this without, more months of shutdowns either here or sort of on a regional level across the country. It just seems like a big old fucking mess. I don't know also if Boston or Massachusetts will have a big resurgence in the fall when the students come back. I don't know if all the colleges are going to make students have vaccine requirements. I don't know anything. I assume that if they don't have vaccine requirements for students, then we could see some major outbreaks. That's just my assumption. News, winds cover U.S. and parts of Canada in hazy smoke from intense wildfire blazes on the west coast. This is true from a personal standpoint. I was at a party in the park the other day, and it was very hazy and very foggy. It was weird. It's sort of like when your neighbors are grilling, but it's like everyone's neighbors are grilling, like everyone's grilling at the same time all day. That's kind of the vibe of the air quality right now. Don't call them shark attacks, scientists say. If we read the article, we would know what to call them, but right now, all we know is that we're not allowed to call them that. The tensions rise between Israel and Unilever over Ben & Jerry's boycott. The Ben & Jerry's thing is very funny to me because Ben & Jerry's to me is such a is like a liberal ice cream that had this like one thing that it did that pissed off like left-wing people, but then you have all these right-wing people taking offense when to me it's they're just sort of dotting and like they're just crossing a T or dotting an I to align this issue with how they address other issues. So it's funny to see right-wing people so mad at this ice cream that they never were eating or buying in the first place. I did a Ben & Jerry's joke the other night. I might do another one before the end of the stream, just because it's so in the news. And I do feel like if we have to talk about the Middle East, it might as well be through the power of ice cream. This seems like a relatively funny conceit, funny way of talking about this very tragic and awful issue. Those who know me know that I have a Palestinian flag on my Facebook profile image that I had a person tell me that they were never going to take any of my classes again because I made fun of Zionists on my Facebook page. So it doesn't take much it doesn't take much support of Palestinians before you see your material welfare practically and immediately impacted, as I can speak to personally. So that's when I talk about the Middle East, that's where I'm coming from. But yeah, there's no love lost between me and the Israeli state. So let's do some more. Eric Clapton doesn't want anybody, doesn't want. What's the exact? I want to find the exact news item, like exactly what the elements are, so I can play with it. We cancel the shows if the venue requires attendees prove they are vaccinated. So your response is because you're eating Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, it's funny because I just went off ice cream. I am trying to lose a few pounds, just for the very practical reason that I bought a bunch of dresses during quarantine, and then I gained just enough weight that not all of them fit, and so I just want to lose enough weight that I don't have to buy another set of clothes, which I feel like is a perfectly reasonable reason to lose weight. Just like I need to listen. I can't continually gain weight and then buy clothes over and over. I need to commit to a particular weight and then just try to stay there just for the purposes of putting clothes on me. There's nothing related to fat phobia. I think I just want to put clothes on my body. So Eric Clapton doesn't want to play venues. Pfeiffer says, I lost a bunch and got rid of old stuff. Now I'm right at the border of my newer clothes not fitting. So I get that. Cool. Because I feel bad, because I feel like, oh, am I trying to lose weight? Oh, like, what a waste of time. Or / oh, but I'm healthy. / oh, like, why can't I just, like the way I look? / oh, like, am I betraying somebody by doing this or talking about it or thinking about it? It's a ripe subject that I feel is mostly addressed in the culture poorly. So you don't want to be part of that mess. It's just a fucking mess. You're like, you would be, like when you have a platform and you're trying to talk about something like weight issues or body issues, you're like, there are so many people who are younger than you, who are more vulnerable than you, who are less confident than you, or less comfortable than you, and so it's very easy to write stuff that hurts people or makes people feel bad or brings up previous issues that they've worked out before and otherwise sort of affect people in a way that is worse than simply not approaching the subject at all. And I don't want to be somebody who makes things worse. I want to be somebody who's a wash, who's like, she did some good things, she did some bad things, it all sort of evens out. It's like she maybe like a slight positive, like, hey, Rachel was here at my funeral. I want people to say, hey, Rachel was here. It wasn't all bad. That's what I want my eulogy to be. And you don't want to cram the negative side with too much stuff, with too much content. You want people to say at the end of your life, hey, net positive, ultimately. At least that's the way I think about it. So Eric Clapton, I know I'm not writing this joke. This is very typical for me to get on a tangent and not write the joke I'm working on. And not perform on any stage where there is a vaccine requirement. So we get back. Eric Clapton doesn't want to play venues where there's a vaccine requirement. It's because and then I have to think of a very funny joke. I have also the worst part about writing a joke is when you have the setup and then you have absolutely no idea what the punchline will be. But that's fine. We'll get there. You have Morning Gloria. Was a nice, yet another reason to avoid hanging out with Eric Clapton fans. I'm just going to predict that Eric Clapton's fan base will shrink. As much as Eric Clapton's a great guitarist, he's a real absolutely bullshit views. Some people said rock on. Eric Clapton. From Michael, #live free or die, space, #take off your mask. Yeah. Eric Clapton, also a white supremacist who wanted to stop Britain from becoming black and to get them out and keep Britain, he's a lifelong, profits, off, I wouldn't see yeah, back here. I think I like to say tweets other people have written out loud, like I'm a mostly redacted FBI document that's been FOIA'd. So Eric Clapton doesn't want to play venues where there's a vaccine requirement. That is because funny reason. So this is a TK joke to come. We'll get there. I'll think of it. All I can think of is something bullshit like vaccine. Was it the vaccine is a better song than Tears from Heaven? Like, even though it's not a song, it's still a better song than Tears from Heaven. But I don't know. I don't think that is a particularly strong candidate for the joke we write tonight. And I also understand that we've only written one joke tonight, which is probably a historic low for this show. Usually I write more jokes than one. Marjorie the Maniac is trending. That's always fun. She's a little fire barrel, and she, Marjorie Taylor Greene, same initials as Magic the Gathering, so it's always weird to see her trending. Michaela Cole is joining Black Panther. That's cool and fun. To the extent that cast announcements for Marvel films is fun. Lauren is trending. I don't know who Lauren is. We're going to find out who Lauren is. Jaragui. I don't know if I'm supposed to know who this is. A lot of times people will trend on Twitter and I won't know who they are. And the tweets themselves will give no indication or any context. And I try to assume that they're YouTubers, because even though I do watch some YouTube, I feel like YouTubers, also TikTok stars, those are the platforms where I have like the least grounding, the least background in terms of knowing who people are, and also those are the people on YouTube. People on YouTube are very likely to trend. If there's like a person trending, it's often a YouTuber. Snake Eyes is trending. It was funny. I did a podcast, or I did a Twitch show that they made into a podcast about the Snake Eyes that stars Nick Cage and is directed by Brian De Palma. And there's a new Snake Eyes movie out, which I believe is a subsidiary of the toy movies, the G.I. Joe films. So that's always fun when two movies have the same name and now nobody can know what they're talking about. Snake Eyes is the name of the new G.I. Joe movie. In it, Nick Cage gets angry, reportedly. Nick Cage has a cameo as a corrupt cop and gambling addict who gets mad and screams at toys. Who he believes has assassinated the Secretary of State, which is what happens in the movie Snake Eyes, the 1998 Brian De Palma movie. Nick Cage screams at various people, and it's about the execution, or rather the assassination, of the Secretary of State. A bucket full of plastic toys. One thing about tweets I find is that it often doesn't hurt to add more fun details, because there's so little to the medium that people do. While brevity is fun, there's nothing wrong with a few fun, colorful details to kind of continue to capture the eye. I was so confused by that stream the other day. I did not remember adding their channel, and you were there. Oh, but Viper, you know what was probably happening is we were probably hosting them. I know it's weird. Twitch is weird, but Twitch has a function called hosting where you basically host another channel, and you can watch the programming of one channel on another channel, and then decide whether to go to that channel if you care to. And you can be in the chat of one channel or go in the chat of the other channel. There can be multiple chats for the same broadcast. It's kind of strange and not completely intuitive, at least as far as I feel. There have definitely been times when I've tried to start chats only to realize that I'm like alone in the chat for hosted content and having to be like, fuck, nobody just saw that amazing joke I just wrote. I have to go over to the original channel for people to see this because nobody's here. But that was fun. Pfeiffer, that Into the Cage Twitch show, which is now officially becoming exclusively a podcast, is hosted by Chris Madden and Meg Cynic, who are very lovely. They're a couple who used to be active in the Boston comedy community. They moved to LA for Chris's work. He works on a big telescope, and they still do stuff. They still are involved in different projects that are Boston-based, like QAW and other stuff, and they're very lovely. So you should check out Managers Comedy. That is the word managers, plural, many managers, Managers Comedy, no space. You should go check them out because they're really good. And again, very lovely. I always like to emphasize the fact that people I know are not only funny, but they're good people, because I know when you're talking about comedians, it's very unclear. You can never make the assumption that any of the comedians referenced are good people. And that is, the fault of the industry. That's the fault of every scene that harbors unpleasant people. I know the Boston comedy scene has had its ups and downs, to say the least. To say no more. But yeah, we're trying to hold people's feet to the fire and to make sure that good people get platforms, and people who have transgressed maybe have fewer. Let's see. Old Rockers. Let me see if I can come back to this one. Eric Clapton doesn't want to play venues when there's a vaccine requirement. That's because... Let's see. What do I know about Eric Clapton? Good guitarist. A boomer. Part of Cream. They've all ran off to NYC to make anime-related podcasts. Giga Harris, he's a boomer. He was part of the band Cream. Layla is a very long song. If anything, he would want people to be able to live through the song Layla. So maybe the joke is, this is counterintuitive. As only vaxxed people will have the, what's called the life expectancy to hear, to enjoy a full, to be able to a complete rendition of Layla. Has a dumb nickname, Slow Hand. Zach, when you said that, I had this horrible image, which I'll share with you because there's really no separation between me and you right now. And this horrible image of Eric Clapton just going down on me with like his hand and but he's going too slow, and I'm like, I can't come this way. So that's the thought that nickname makes me think of, which is probably too filthy to act on, but I thought you guys should know what was going on up here in my noodle. Let's see. Eric Clapton doesn't want to play venues where there's a vaccine requirement. This feels counterintuitive, as only vaxxed people will have the life expectancy needed to listen to a complete expectancy required to listen to a complete rendition of Layla. That's fine. That's like a fine joke. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's up to the standards that I have placed on myself. Worship Tims, what was the association you were anticipating? It's just like, he's like this kind of like highly self-regarding older guy who is very impressed with his own prowess. I'm like, of course he would have terrible game and like try to finger blast you, but be terrible at it because his fingers aren't moving quickly enough. Like, of course that would be the scenario that one would expect. Anyway, I don't think we need to talk about Eric Clapton's sexual proficiency, his hand proficiency for the rest of the show. Although I could, I'm very good at talking about things nobody wants me to talk about for long periods. Let's see who else is trending. Chris Cillizza. I feel like Chris Cillizza is one of those people who you really only know the name of if you're on Twitter. I think that if you are a normal person, you're like, who the fuck? And if you're on Twitter, you're like, I hate that guy. Because his whole shtick, if you're not familiar with it, is like being paid a lot of money. He's like a news guy. I forget if he's CNN or MSNBC, but he's like a news guy, and he just writes the most asinine tweets. So I guess he's for CNN. Yeah, he's like That's a good joke, Pfeiffer. You should write it. It feels like, I don't know if Bob Dylan has contributed to the vaccine discourse, but I feel like everyone enjoys a good Bob Dylan joke. I know I do. So yeah. Yeah, Chris Cillizza is one of those horrible people that makes you feel compelled to defend Nancy Pelosi, and you're just like, what is the horrible acrobatics you're forcing me to do in order to end up in this position. Yeah, Chris Cillizza is also like, he makes like a lot of money to worsen the political dialogue in the country. So it's the other big reason people hate him. But again, I think that if you're not on Twitter, you wouldn't know him from Adam, I assume. I don't think he's like a famous, he's on CNN or he's involved with CNN, but I don't think of him as like a big CNN guy. The way like normal people might know who Don Lemon is. I don't think they know who Chris Cillizza is. Maggie, who's Maggie? I think Maggie's like a streamer. She looks very familiar. I think she might be a TikToker. But I don't know anything about her. I don't know enough to make hay of her. And even if I did, it would probably be too obscure a target to pursue. Cream, I assume this is trending because of, you know what it is? You know what it is? Cream is trending because of ice cream, because of Ben & Jerry's. When I was thinking Cream was trending because of Eric Clapton, because he was in Cream. But that was where I was wrong. Googling Bob Dylan, COVID, and all the results were about Clapton being sucking. It's okay. We got it for flavor. I'm not at all a prescriptivist with regards to language. Let's see. Eric Clapton. Cream. This Eric Clapton news is a big fucking deal. Like, it's all over the news channels, like trending topics. It sucks because he was cute. I assume this is Eric Clapton. He wasn't a bad looking guy. Too bad about everything. Let's see if we can write a couple more jokes before the end of the stream. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy nights to watch me ramble while writing jokes. I really do appreciate it, and I'm grateful for the attention and the support. If you like what we do here in the channel, feel free to support us. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/2mbstudios, as well as a Ko-fi. If you do not want to make a monthly commitment, but just like a one-time commitment, you could do Ko-fi. It's ko-fi.com/2mbstudios. That just gives us a little bit of pocket change to be able to afford the things we do. For example, like we get a license that lets us have access to a bunch of sounds and music clips that will not get us DCMA'd into the ether. Everyone is saying Michaela is going to be Storm. That's pretty fun. Seems like a good fit, but I don't have any thoughts about it. It's funny because you're trying to find, when I'm writing jokes, and I'm trying to find things that I know about enough, that I have a strong opinion about, but where it doesn't feel like I'm necessarily going to, make light of a terrible circumstance, and most news is a series of terrible circumstances now. So it can often be tricky to find the topic. I feel like writing a joke about something is sometimes easier than just choosing the thing you're going to make light of. There's apparently a very tall horse on TikTok. This horse is quite tall. Tom Howe, Tokyo 2020. From tennis champion to Netflix star to Sports Illustrated model. What to know about Naomi Osaka. There was a missing Ugandan weightlifter. Someone made a list of every openly LGBTQ athlete competing at the Tokyo 2020 Games. Now I'm imagining someone making a list of every closeted LGBTQ athlete competing at the Tokyo 2020 Games. That would be Terrible People Monthly, like a Bad Decision bi-weekly. I meet Olympian Gabby Thomas, the world's fastest epidemiologist. That's fun. Like, the Olympics should be canceled, but they are fun. It sucks that they suck so bad, because one should be able just to enjoy a bunch of sports all at once every few years. Yeah, they should cancel the Olympics forever, and they should just have a very laid back, casual, sometimes World Sports Day, where everybody just kind of gets together and plays sports. Like, they're still the best in the world at the sports, but it's just a little bit more loosey-goosey. It's more like a field day. No infrastructure has to be built for it. No people have to be displaced from their homes for it. And certainly no city on Earth has to be plunged into debt for it. It's just a fun field day where people from around the world get together and we all get to watch a bunch of sports that we don't usually watch at once. This actually feels like a tweet. Move the Olympics to a Greek island permanently. Yeah, they should move the Olympics to the Greek island where Wonder Woman comes from. Writing. Canceling the Olympics and forming a committee to organize everybody field day. World Field Day to just watch a bunch of sports at once. But the whole vibe. Whole vibe is pretty chill. But the watch people around the world play sports at once, but the vibe is pretty chill. Yeah, I know. I feel like a few of the websites I follow, like the New Republic and the Defector newsletter, I'm sure more than just those, but certainly those have already come out with articles about how the Olympics are really bad and should be canceled forever. And one can't help. I feel like everything that's bad about the Olympics is being foregrounded on this year in particular. And you, like, I accidentally tweeted this from my personal account. Let me fix that. I always feel bad. I've accidentally posted stuff onto my personal during one of my shows, and those tweets have gone well, and I always feel bad I didn't post them from 2MB because part of posting from 2MB is just so people are more aware that we have this Twitter presence and to follow us on here and then be able to receive, or rather to have access to be able to see in their feeds, the promotions for all the other shows where we promote all the other shows in this feed. Canceling the Olympics and forming a committee to organize World Field Day. You still get to watch people from around the world play sports, but it's pretty. But the vibe is pretty. The vibe is chill. You can see the manager special, where I just did the Twitch show / podcast for Snake Eyes. Also retweeted the Snake Eyes tweet we just made, so feel free to follow them. You can follow them by following who liked that tweet. Cool. We'll do a few more. It's 10:23, and I know that Matt in particular, I've had a fine day. Nothing to write home about. I mostly stayed home. But I know that Matt had an incredibly long day. So if you can thank Matt for doing the tech in the chat, I know he'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. He's been working hard, and we're very grateful for his tech expertise. But before we call it a night, we're going to do a few more tweets because I haven't really tweeted too much tonight. I've mostly been talking. Let's see. Now I'm thinking, do we want to do a Ben and Jerry's joke? Is there a Ben and Jerry's joke that doesn't feel like so overtly political that people are gonna be weird about it? Gotta pick a new anime to watch and change my Twitter name. Yeah, Dr. Zach Jones is on Team Matt. If you guys want, I don't know. I just had like the most possible self-indulgent thought, which is that we could have like Team Matt, Team Ben, and Team Rachel shirts. But then I'm like, that's a terrible idea. We are nobodies. But it would be funny to be like, what if we had a competition? Again, funny in concept. It would probably be a terrible idea in execution. But if we had, yeah, Matt's like, we are Team Everyone. We're not going to do Team Ben, Team Rachel, Team Matt. We're not going to have factions. We're not going to factionalize our audience and make them choose who they love most. Someone would get their feelings hurt. We would all be fun in games. We would all be on board to a certain extent, and then someone would care too much, and then it would just all fall apart. Yeah, Matt would just Matt would not be able to deal with the pressure of being the most loved of us. I just got retweeted by Lee Harvey Oswald Cobblepot, which whatever else I write or do tonight, I feel like that is all the reward that I need during this. Team too much pressure. Let's see, a couple more. Eating Ben and Jerry's. American flag. I'm not being political. I just am addressing I just have low blood sugar. No, I just had a breakup. I'm just trying to think of a non-political reason to eat ice cream. I just have low blood sugar and this corner of the room. Eating Ben & Jerry's next to an American flag. I'm not being political. I just have low blood sugar, and now I need a reason for why I'm eating next to the American flag. Flag creates a nice what would be like a fun, interesting, non-political reason to eat near a flag? Like, what would be a practical cause for having a napkin? and the American flag. I like to use it as a napkin, you guys. For zero reason, my mind went, my doctor's office just has a flag on it. Hey, Kenny. My doctor's office. I saw tweets flying and figured the show must be happening. It is a happening, and the tweets are flying. Although not much for much longer, because Matt's had a really long day, and I'm trying not to make the show go longer than it usually does. Let's see. I'm not being political. Why would you have a flag? Doctor's office? Team blame Matt. I'm not blaming you, Matt. I'm just explaining. I'm explaining. And I feel bad, and the badness bubbles up into me talking about behind the scenes trivium. I feel, I've never had to wake up at 5:30, or if I did, it was under duress. It was, by definition, the worst time of my life, so I feel incredible sympathy for anybody who has to wake up very early in the morning, which I believe you do now have to do that. So I feel bad, and this is how I'm performing, expressing my feel badness about something that you have to do. Eating Ben & Jerry's next to an American flag. I'm not being political. I just have low blood sugar, and I'm locked out of my house. So I'm hanging out at my friend's flag store. That's dumb. So that one is there. So I'll probably wrap it up here. Very few tweets written tonight, just a few, but I feel like the ones we did, did right were pretty good. I feel like we can be pretty happy with them. So, so I feel like this is a good time to wrap up the stream. Again, if you enjoy the channel, feel free to support us. We have a Ko-fi, we have a Patreon, we have a TeePublic site full of merch. If you want a shirt or a mouse pad or a notebook or a baby onesie, we have it all. Any kind of thing you need for your house, we have it on our merch page. You can find all of these links if you go to the About page of our Twitch channel. They all have lovely links. You can get access to anything you want through the links, including ways to support the channel. We have shows all 7 days a week. We are on our summer Buns in the Sun schedule. We're having some new programming coming in August. The Buns in the Sun special schedule. because everyone is busy. So we need some new content just for the summer months before shows come back in September. But even on our new sort of more relaxed schedule, we still have shows every day of the week. Tomorrow we have Left Night, again, our Marxist talk show. Great work by Kendra and Zach. And I believe that QAW, our Gonzo wrestling show, is coming back a week from tomorrow night. If you like 3 hours of incredible wrestling commentary over simulated matches from WK19 and incredible comedic sketches where people dress as their avatars in the game, it's a must-see. If fall in love with the show, it is, I believe, in its final season in its current form, starting a week from tomorrow night. So, Pfeiffer has a chat in the anime poll. Great point that Pfeiffer is in the Discord. We have a Discord also available in the About section of our About page on our Twitch channel. So I had a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Hopefully I'll be seeing some of you in person. Otherwise, I'll be seeing all of you if you care to come next week. Same time, same day, 9 p.m. EDT, Wednesday, right here with me, Joy of Posting. That's the show. Good night, good luck, and good posting.